Danny, congratulations. Let me just start by asking you how you feel about this moment and how's it feel to be a New Orleans Saint?
Man, I'm pumped, man. I mean, there's no better team. I think a little anxious, going up into it, but I'm excited, man. I'm just add value to my name and just keep better, keep getting better, man. I'm just a lot of emotion right now in this moment.
What was your pre-draft process meeting like with the Saints? Did you have a lot of interaction with them?
Yeah, I actually their coach from Cal is the only coach to work me out in this process. So I had one workout, no visits, but I think they knew that in there. I thought I put on a good performance, clearly so. And it was great. Just had a great time.
What do you feel like you bring to this defense that you might have proved in that workout?
I bring energy. I bring intensity. Anytime I step on that field, I'm ferocious. I'm just gonna bring effort, leave it all out there.
Would you describe yourself as a vocal leader or more of a lead by example guy?
Kind of both. A great leader can do it all. Obviously you can't walk in day one and start demanding things. You got to earn that respect. So just come in, every single day and just do what you can and just prove that what I can do.
Danny, is there an existing player that you kind of compare your style after? And are you good on special teams? Is that something you feel like you're good at?
Oh, 100%. Special teams is where I kind of add value early on in my career in Oklahoma. The best players are the ones that play special teams and go out there and play defense. And so that's what I try and do. And you look at other players, it's hard to kind of just, emulate. I try and take stuff from, great players all over. At the end of the day, I am my own player.
Hey, Danny, a little off track question here, but are you the best athlete in your family?
Uh, it's pretty close. I come from a pretty big background of my dad played football at Baylor, my mom played basketball, and then my sister played softball. There's probably a little competition there, but I think as of right now, I think I am the best athlete.
Danny, you said one workout, and that was with the Saints. Does that put a chip on your shoulder at all? That it was just kind of the one?
I mean a little bit. Obviously there's a lot that goes into the process, but just got to take the most of the opportunities that you're presented with. I think I capitalized on that.
How many hats did you buy for today?
Yeah, so New Era didn't want to send me any, so I went to Lids and bought all 11 of them, and then I'll return them after shortly after. But hey, it worked out. It was a 33% chance, but it worked out.
Danny, how do you go from to a high school in Florida to Oklahoma?
Yeah, that's a good question. No, but growing up, well, in high school, I actually went to school with Warren Sapp, his son, and so kind of just that name, I think, brought a little bit of attention. I think when you end up making plays that I was doing, you're gonna, coaches their jobs to find talent, and I think that's what I did.
Did you follow the Saints? How much do you know about the Saints and the organization?
Excuse me, what'd you say?
How much do you know about the Saints organization? Any players, or did you follow the Saints kind of coming up?
I'm gonna be honest, not too much, but I'm about to learn a lot. I know Brian Brees, played at Clemson. Coach V got me his contact, and I'm sure I'm gonna hit him up. He's coming from that that same defense at Clemson, and I'm ready to get to know the guys. I'm excited to be a part of that locker room.
Danny, going back to your high school, it says that you played wide receiver as well. Can
Oh
you,
yes, sir. Playing at a small school, you gotta try and do everything on offense, on defense. I don't think I left the field. Early in my career, I played wide receiver, and then as the time went on, just tried to try and get the ball as much as possible. Kind of moved to wildcat quarterback, running back, whatever it took to win.
The Instagram caption that you had about the communion already it's kind of making the rounds. Did you come up with that, or could you just kind of expand?
I got a good team. It helps me out a little bit. But when you start putting out good captions, man, it puts a lot of pressure out there. And so, I ended up hiring a guy to run my social media, help me out a little bit. So it takes a little bit of pressure off me there. But I try. Sometimes I get a good idea every once in a while.
So was that one you or was that the one that spawned the need to go and get the caption guy?
No comment.
How do you kind of see the team using you at the next level?
I mean, at the end of the day, however they want to use me, I'm gonna do whatever I'm told. I want to eventually be a leader on that defense. But I know I got to start just every single day showing up being the same person. That comes with your consistency, your hard work, and your effort. And so, whatever coach needs me to do, if he wants me to run through a wall, I'll do it.
Danny, when you were there at Oklahoma, were you there any time when Spencer Rattler was there?
Yes, sir. My freshman year, Spencer was there, and he was a great dude. You know, right away, obviously, come as a freshman, you don't really know too much about the guys, but obviously, I knew he was a 5-star quarterback, and he was great. Every time I ran into him, always hung his head up high. Great dude, great leader, and he really had command of that locker room.
Danny, I know you said you didn't necessarily follow the Saints, but I'm curious how familiar you are or where you are, of course, with Demario Davis and just kind of your thoughts on him.
Yeah, so Curtis Lofton at Oklahoma was actually a pretty good friends with Demario Davis, and so yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I know too much about the system. I'm excited to get into that playbook and everything like that. I pride myself on knowledge of just defensive schemes, and so I'm excited to learn something new.
Just to clarify, you only had one workout in the pre-draft process, and that was with the Saints, or
Excuse me? Sorry, it's hard to hear.
one pre-draft workout? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that was my one workout. Yes, sir.
What do you feel like you learned during that workout? Like just working with the coach, like your reflections of the coach you worked with, all that.
Yeah, I mean, I learned what an NFL workout's like. Kind of just, I didn't really know too much going into it, and so that was first for everything. But I had a good time. We went to dinner. It was a great experience. It was me and Ethan Downs were together, and I just wanted to perform my best. Took care of myself in that process. Was available, was ready, and just did everything I could, best of my ability.
What did they have you do? Did anything differ from the normal workouts for you?
Nothing too crazy. Had some cameras on me. Made sure I looked good and passed the eye test.
What areas, Danny, do you feel like coming into this that you'd like to improve on, that you feel like you need to work on coming in here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, early in my career, you're never going to be perfect. There's a lot I need to work on. Every single day, I evaluate myself. The best players know their weaknesses, and I think I can start off, just improving my coverage abilities. Obviously, block destruction at the next level is something that it's got to be big. The linemen get a lot better at the next level, and so just keep on improving those two things, and then just gotta make tackles in the league. And so I really want to pride myself on no missed tackles.
Have you taken any time to think about the new kickoff rules? Obviously, it's not something you do in college, but it's going to be even bigger this year with the changes and the touchdown.
I mean, I haven't taken any time. I know obviously it's a little different. You're 5 yards apart, but I think it makes it a little bit easier. As a defensive guy, you can kind of see where the double teams are coming earlier. You can know exactly who's going to be blocking you. It makes it a little bit easier on the kickoff team.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Congrats.
That's it. Thank you guys so much.